Hello everyone, Chris here. Decided to do some coaching. Figured can give back to the community a little bit. So, just looking here, looks like we got two 1100 rated players, 1130, 1150, playing some Four Lakes. Let's take a look. Figure we can give some advice that's probably applicable to a lot of people and maybe help you improve your gameplay a little bit. Also kind of relaxing for me, watching some players duke it out, so let's get started here. So it looks like we're watching Orange's Realm in orange. And he's got a good start here. So that's always good, building two houses at the start. Two villagers building one house, two on the other house. I always recommend hitting the idle military button so that you can send your scout moving right away. Scouting with 3 sheep is very dangerous. I always recommend 2 sheep, especially if you're relatively new. And you don't have to be so precise about them. You can just grab 2 and send them any direction, and any bit helps. When you're scouting with your scout, I would recommend that you shift click if you don't have time to watch him. And I'm not sure if he did it here or not, but you want to essentially make sure you're always building constant villagers, and you want to put a number on these units so you can put them onto the next sheep, which isn't that critical if you're at 1100, but I'd always recommend too, you want to scout in a circle like this fella's doing, Realm, and you do want to build a lumber camp near your close wood camp there. It is a bit of an awkward lumber camp here because you can only fit 4 villagers on, essentially 2 on each before you get a tile away. I'd usually recommend it kind of in the nook. Actually, that's probably the best spot, is either in this little square or this little square. But it's definitely not bad. Definitely not bad at all. It'll just be if he does a little fish boom and gets 6 or 7 on here, they'll get a little bit crowded. So he did find his 4 sheep. He found his 2 boars. And he is scouting his opponent. That's really good. It's actually a very, very good looking start from an 1100 rated player, I'm not going to lie. And so right now you got to decide. Honestly, I probably would... okay, hold on. The second you see stone, you got to be really careful with your scout because you know your enemy's right there. Sometimes even if I'm hunting a boar, I'll just leave him by the stone. Just for a second. And constant villagers, that's good. Build a house with this one, that's pretty good. And still scouting, yeah. He doesn't know where his opponent is. If you see single trees like this, be extremely careful. I mean, obviously the TC isn't there this time, but this could just as easily be the TC location, so. And he's building a mill. Okay, so one thing about Four Lakes is it does have 4 corners with a ton of fish. I don't know how many that is, a couple thousand food worth of fish. You do want to drop your food to get constant villager production, and you definitely don't want to mill. You want to put, I'm going to say 6 or 7 villagers on wood, and that villager that's building a house, you want to send him this direction and build a dock right at the edge. And he's watching villagers pretty good here. And the reason for that is you can build a few fishing ships, and if you build 4 or 5, you're going to get a lot of food. It's like having 4 or 5 more villagers, pretty much. And you can still build the mill, but you build it later. And good job hunting the boar here. This looks more like an Arabia build to me. And he didn't find his opponent. He's scouting way over here, so I don't think he realizes. And this is a good lesson for everyone. If you see a patch of 5 stone, it's always near your opponent's base. And even the 4 stones, I think 95% of the time, yeah, they're always near the opponent's base too. The 3 stones and the 3, the ones that have like a 3 pile of gold. Well, that one's probably his, but sometimes there's 4 tiles that are deceiving, it looks like, on this map. So there's a few spots with 4 tiles, but the stone is a dead giveaway. Deer are a very good indication, and you did run into these deer earlier. Most maps only have deer near your base. And you didn't see the gold, but obviously a big gold pile is another dead giveaway. So that's just some tips when you're scouting. I'd also recommend when you're scouting not to go too close to the edge of the map. As you can see, the town center is usually about, I'm going to say half a screen away, depending. So I have to go a little further out or a little further towards the edge, if you notice. Looks like he is drushing here. Maybe going men at arms, which is a good strategy. Probably wants to... And this is where you always want to give your scout a number, and even your villager that's building stuff, it's good to give it a number. Just keep it working. And he got up in a reasonable time here. This is looking like a pretty good... On Arabia, this would be a very good build. But you need to find your opponent too, so... And his opponent also skipped water. And needs to make some villagers and is going scouts, and has an extremely fast uptime, but Mongols it's possible. And I guess he must have hunted the deer. He did, yeah, only one left. So if you see this and you're Rum, you also gotta decide, am I going men at arms, which it looks like he is. And if you're walling, wall to the water on 4 lakes. They'll save you, you know, your enemy's not going to transport not that easily and not that early anyway. And it is a good idea to pre-wall if you know your enemy's going scouts and you're going to be a couple minutes away. Especially, yeah, those are both good. It will be a little annoying, I think, if the scouts get out. See, this is what I meant by when you know there's stone there, you got to be really careful where the town center is, because you could lose it for free. And here, you want to be really careful. Just finish that wall. These villagers, I'd almost say keep them on this side. You know that your enemy went up super fast. And you definitely need more food. I think there's too much focus on wood with 2 lumber camps. He's not going to be able to upgrade his men at arms. And if he does, he'll be really behind on villagers, because... Yeah, so he just got the men at arm upgrade, but now he's got 3 scouts in here. And if he sends them home, that's only 1 villager on food. So Blue's doing a good job here, blocking and attacking. You might or might not get this one. He got it, okay. So that is how you do it. You usually attack with 2, block with 1. But now Orange is really in trouble. Because the second you have idle TC and you can't make villagers, that's very painful. And I would say you also want to wall this off, probably with an archery range and a house. It's the easiest way to do it quickly, is using buildings. And we'll look here at his men at arms, because that is his counterattack here. And those scouts are going right for this villager. The counterattack's going in. Let's see how well Blue responds to it. Blue is going to go with fishing ships, so he does realize that's an option. Maybe a little late, but... Oh, and good quick wall. Look at that. 1100 might have quick walled better than me there. Good job. So obviously, if you know your villager's out in the open and it's going to be hunted, you definitely try and palisade it in. But if you're attacking, you got to be super careful, because if you lose this army for free, this cost you, you know, a few hundred food. And that's why you're not producing villagers, so... I would say, in this case, after those 3 militia, if I was him, I would recommend not upgrading them just because he didn't have the food for it. You'd actually rather have 2 more villagers, because it's tough to kill 2 villagers with 3 men at arms. He almost got 1. He might have got 2 or 3 if he was really, really fortunate, but now he's kind of in a tough spot here. And you got to super watch this. I always recommend, if you're going to pre-wall in, I mean, that's open. I guess Blue doesn't know it either, but yeah, and if you have 4 scouts, even 3 scouts, you can take out spears. It's not the most cost effective, but it does work. I'd say it's actually pretty equal in terms of cost for both teams. You probably get 2 hits on a scout, which pretty much 80% kills it. But the spear is also slightly cheaper than a scout, so it kind of balances out. So if we look now, he's on 23 villagers. And his opponent's on 29. So this is the big difference here. I'm going to say that what Orange needs to focus on, because he had such a good builder at the start, other than not docking, but is focusing more on villagers. And when instead of pre-walling this wooden, I mean, I probably would have done that, but also pre-wall in this berries. You can get, sometimes it's easier if you build the mill 1 tile away. Oh, good hit here. And this is where you gotta be paying attention if you're Blue, to use the numbers. But I guess he's probably watching this men-at-arms. But you essentially you can build your mill one tile away and then put a single two palisades on both sides, and it's easy to close off then. And now he's lost his army here. It has a lot of wood. You want to spend your wood too as you get it. In this case, you want to build 2 archery ranges probably, or at least 1 archery range early on, and the rest of the wood probably finish walling in. You've already done so much walling in. You really might as well close this little gap. Close this little gap to the mill. Close to the forest. And if you use houses and a couple archery ranges and a blacksmith, you probably pretty much got it closed. So, and I would say one tip I have is for Blue, when he had his scouts here, if you don't see any villagers here, essentially what you want to do is you want to retreat until you can pay attention to your scouts again. So give them a number by pressing Control 1 or Control 2 or whatever it is, and then move them away until you can focus on them. And then, hit H or whatever it is to go back to your town center, work on your economy a little bit, and then hit that number again twice, and it'll go back to those units. And that's how you can cycle back and forth. And even if you're a really slow player, you'll get used to it, and you'll get a lot better at watching. It kind of feels to your opponent, it'll feel like you're always looking at your army, and you always have a good economy. But really, you're just doing one at a time, so that'd be a good thing. And he has picked up that he can fish here, which is good. And as you can see, his opponent's really going to town with fishing. 7 fish ships. I would recommend that you kind of put it closer to the peak. That way your fish ships, after this first one's out, you have easier access to the rest of the fish. This one was actually pretty good. I might have put it at this tip right here, but it's pretty good. And looks like he's going to have the resources to go up pretty quick here. This is where you do decide, do I go, is he going to go knights or archers? So when you go to Castle Age, especially when it's a relatively open map, even palisade walls, you always want to make some units as you're going, pick what you're going to do in early Castle Age. So in this case, with Magyars, you actually have either decision. You can easily go archers, you can go cav archers, or you can go knights. And in a case like this, I'm actually going to say if you're a new player, mix it up a little bit. Sometimes do knights, sometimes do archers. You want to learn how to use all of them eventually. And maybe pick one for a little while. And now he's noticing, you always got to make sure when you hit 600 food, make sure you built your second building. So at least you have some time. And now this is going to be pretty dicey because it looks like his opponent is probably going knights, probably booming at the same time, and his map is open. So if any knights come through here, it could be very dangerous. So I would always recommend taking 3 or 4 villagers and finishing the wall, even if it's just a single palisade wall. Just buy you some time, essentially. And it is nice when you're closed off, because then no matter what your skill level is, you got some reaction time. So, and if we look here at Blue, he's got 2 town centers going, and I would say actually a pretty balanced economy. Looks like he's adding a few knights. I would definitely recommend you send your first 2 knights forward. You might find something, you might not, but it's worth checking. And with an economy like this, yeah, booming is a good idea. Definitely add a few villagers to this TC. Very good. And when you have the edge like this, I'd actually say you want to put a town center out here. Grab the second stone. Get some more wood. That's probably the best spot. The other one, it could be out here. You want to get... essentially, you want to secure another wood pile. But you do also want to get used to attacking and making units at the same time. It's obviously quite difficult to do that. But... like I said, you got to practice it. The more you practice it, the better you'll do. And as you can see, his opponent did realize, and he is walling. And if those 4 knights were right here right now, it's game over. Like there's only 2 spearmen around and free villagers here for the killing, and he's got tons of upgrades too. I'm also going to say you don't need all these upgrades right away. Bloodlines is good. +1 armor is good. The attack, you could have got the first attack, but you don't need it. Especially unless you're really massing knights with like 3 stables and you got 10 or 15 of them. But so he did scout that it's out there. It looks like he does have a lot on stone. So he is going in, and this is where if you walled the edge of the map, you wouldn't have this issue. So it is getting pretty dicey here for orange. Orange is realizing he's got a bunch of knights and he's switching. Ooh, that's a lot of food. So you want to spend your resources too. So you try and balance it out a little bit. I actually say there's too many on food. You got to make villagers at the same time as probably get the pikeman upgrade. You probably want to get the blacksmith upgrades. If you see knights, you definitely want to get the armor upgrades for pikemen. And pikemen are definitely a good idea. Two barracks is good. Monks are definitely good. I would actually recommend having a few more on wood and being able to build another town center or two. Really helps against the knights. This is unfortunate though, because once this dock goes down, he's not going to be able to fish. So that's going to be a bit difficult. Okay, he's getting the armor. Good job. You want to make sure if you have 1,000 food, queue up 10 villagers. There's nothing wrong with having more queued than less. That way you won't forget. This is looking a little dicey here. Well, you did get one knight. So that's good defense by Orange here. I guess maybe he was okay with it coming in based on that. But this side's looking super dicey. And that's the trick. If you're attacking players and you got knights, attack in 2 spots at the same time. This is really smart by blue. And it's making it incredibly hard for orange. And with this castle, I think that's a very, very good castle. I mean, pushing his wood pile, getting close to his base. And I don't think orange even knows. Oh, he does know, okay. But there's not much he can do about it. Yeah, still converting some knights here. That's good. Oh, and I realized, sorry, that... yeah, that's going to be tough to deal with. He's trying to get it, but the hard thing is when you're walking close, look one more time how much HP. Yeah, and he did good here. You want to retreat there. And he is still booming on 2 TCs. Seed Chop. You can't really take a castle down in Castle Age, I would say, unless you're certain you have more army. I would actually recommend probably a 3rd town center instead of Seed Chop here. And probably somewhere on this side of the gold or even by the wood. This will get dicey pretty quick. Now, from Blue's perspective, he does have too much food. And he could definitely have a 3rd town center. But he is also hunting for the kill. And when you're Mongols, and you have a lot of food, you got to remember, the light cav for Mongols are very strong. You know, Knights have 120 hit points. The light cav have 98 hit points. So, if you look at tanking TC fire or taking even pikemen pokes, you'd rather have light cav taking the damage than Knights. Obviously, the Knights do a lot more damage, and they have a lot more regular armor, but... the second you see someone attacking you, always build a building right behind it. So, and he's doing it here. That's good. So, memorize your house building hotkey, and you know I think it's BE for a lot of people or something like that. Houses are the easiest things to do. And you can see on a map like this, I do recommend making a 2nd dock with a few fish ships. Maybe not this many, but I'd honestly say, you know, if you make 6 or 7 on each pond, you'll be doing pretty good. You don't want to overfish either, because the second you run out, you kind of, you know, lose your food income, and I guess 8 or 9 isn't bad either. So he's got 3 town centers going. And he's trying to go Imperial Age. Look at this. 1,000 food, 1,000 gold. Maybe, maybe not. The nice thing is, the second you have Mangadai, I mean, obviously you decided to push in one location, but you can also raid with them. Very easy to raid with Cav Archers. Or Mangadai. Well, that's a good push, too. And Blue's paying attention. That's good. So you definitely want to make a Mangonel here to kill these Mangonels. Especially because you can just pop out and shoot. So, there and he did it. Okay, good job. Now, obviously, we're seeing a bit of a snowball here. When you get ahead in a game, often what you need to do is make more town centers, make more villagers, and put some pressure on. And if you can do those things pretty well, you can usually snowball the victories. So, and running back to your castle, always a good idea. As you can see, he didn't even take a hit there. Very smart. But you can see also Orange doing a nice counter jump, killing a Mangonel and going for the Knights at the same time. Really, really well played there. I think if Orange wasn't so far behind his economy, this would be a very close game. So definitely you want to kill whatever you can. Oh boy, this is looking dicey. Second one. Good job microing by both of them. Obviously Blue's doing the killing the Mangonels, and now it is looking pretty dicey for Orange. But okay, his opponent's watching pretty well. Now you can ram Mangonels, by the way. So if you're in a position like this and you got both attacking, I mean that's definitely the way to go. But as you can tell, even if Blue wasn't pushing so hard, he has 78 villagers and he has a lot of resources. So another big tip I want to say is always spend your resources as fast as you can. Ooh, good play by Orange. In a lot of cases, that can be the difference between winning and losing, and especially on units, technologies, villagers, all those different things. So I would say Blue did a good job here, and the main things would be for both players. You want to dock on 4 lakes, go for fishing ships in the Dark Age before you build a mill. 6 or 7 villagers on wood is usually good. And then when you're going up to Feudal Age, then you can build a mill if you're doing some sort of strategy with food. And going scouts is good, and going men at arms is good too. And sometimes even you wanna sneak a villager and kill your opponent's fish, but if they're not building fish, I guess that might be a little bit moot. And obviously focus as much as you can on using numbers for your army and building villagers consistently. You always want to do that, and hopefully that helps a little bit. So anyways, if you want to see more games like this, please comment below. I am kind of considering doing I'm going to call a ton of games whenever I feel like teaching people something new. So let me know. Anyways, till next time, have a good play, and hope you improve a little bit. See you later.